So just before I start with what I wanted to talk about today, I just want to add a little bit more on betrayal, where we talked about abandonment, rejection, and betrayal yesterday, and what are the keys to dealing with that. And it's just something else. I explained yesterday with betrayal how it leads to that inability to commit, and then it can lead you to then kind of start to antagonize life rather than embrace life and co-create with life and embrace that third principle of the nurturance of all life. And something else that I didn't really go into was how hanging on to the experience of being betrayed can also then bring in that bitterness and that anger and that it's not fair. And when you go far enough with that, it can lead you to want revenge. You know, and that whole thing of I'm right, you're wrong, and I'm going to make you pay for that. Or I'm going to, you know, I want you to get it, and I don't care if I hurt you. And can you see how that's really the antithesis of the third principle? Because instead of nurturing all of life, you want to harm. You want to cause harm, and that's through hanging on to that it's not fair thing. So if you go far enough with that, you can really start to turn into a nasty, harmful energy and really seek to actually consciously harm someone because you feel really justified in that, because I've been wronged, so I'm in my right to do that. I have a right to do that. That's my revenge. And you got to really watch that, because revenge can take you on a whole circuitous path that can take a while to get over. You know, you can do a lot of harm, a lot of damage that can take a long time to clear up and to clear that mess. And if you are the betrayer, the one that betrays, and you still feel really righteous in all of that and really justified, even though you betrayed something that may have been beautiful, that may have been sacred or whatever, but whatever it was because you felt left out or misunderstood or hurt, or, you know, somebody who was doing that didn't agree with you, or whatever the reasons that we do to betray, and even after you've betrayed, you still hang on to that sense of being right, you'll tend to then have experiences where the universe is really going to try to teach you to get out of your own way and start to really acknowledging where the sacredness of things is. And that can again lead you on that path where you abuse power, basically, you know, because you feel so right. It doesn't matter what you betray, it's all about my agenda, what I think is right, and all of that. So there is no co-creation with source in that. It's all about me, and you can really go onto that dark path of just this is my way, and that dictatorship, that power over abuse of power, and then the universe will obviously then make you experience certain experiences where you will have to get on the receiving end of that to really understand how you have been so close-minded and short-sighted in your thinking that you knew better than everyone else and you were right and it was all about you. However, if you've betrayed out of thinking you were doing the right thing, or maybe out of getting triggered in the moment in maybe experiences of rejection or abandonment, you know, when you hang on to rejection and abandonment, it can then cause you to want so much to keep that person that you feel is gonna abandon you, or prevent that person from rejecting you, or prevent them from loving you too much, or whatever, that you start to betray them in order to play out these patterns of rejection and abandonment, or to try to not feel that pain of abandonment and rejection that you carry. And so sometimes we do that. We just get triggered in the moment, and we'll do whatever we can to not be rejected or not be abandoned, not to push the other person away if we're really like feeling that unworthy and unlovable. And that causes us to then betray that person. But sometimes we also betray because we really feel we're doing the right thing, and it's only after the fact that we go, oh my God, what have I done? You know, oh, I got it all wrong. That wasn't the right thing to do. In the same way, sometimes through getting really triggered into your pain and your rejection and abandonment, if you betray someone you love and then you realize how much you've hurt them, you can have that, oh, what have I done kind of experience. And that can be absolutely demolishing. And then what you do then is, you know, possibly embark on a path of that self-punishment, self-imposed penance thing that so many here are stuck in, that doing penance over and over and over again for either betraying or making a mistake, abusing power, whatever it is that you judge so much you can't get over it. And So there's that, but sometimes what happens is that you judge yourself so much also that you keep that cycle of betrayal, and you keep betraying. And then the thing is also that when you are the betrayer and you judge yourself so much, and you really have all that self-loathing and self-blame and self-hate because of what you did, you will tend to then become your own worst enemy and betray yourself over and over again as well. So it's just a little bit more exploration of the whole betrayal theme, because that's one that can run quite deep and can really turn into a nasty thing and really fester if it's not dealt with properly, if it's not accepted and healed. So it's really good to look at all that. Any questions about that? Okay. So what I really wanted to do today is have more of a bit of an experiential time with you guys for around the theme of that commitment to spirit and that living out of spirit. I talked about the other day that whole perspective of, we're going about our lives, living our lives as, egos on the ground, not necessarily being very conscious. And then, we have this awakening, or we start to kind of feel called to embrace the spiritual path. So we start to look for spirit. Maybe we read books, or we go to workshop, or we start looking at stuff on the internet, or we start meditating or praying, whatever it is that we do to start engaging with spirituality, and we start to make time and space in our life for spirit, to invite spirit into our lives. And this is a very important part of that experience of spiritual awakening and starting on the spiritual path. But when you really want to get serious about that, where it's not just learning about spirituality, but you really want to be a spiritual being having a human experience, and you want that sense of spirit identification, and you really are committed, and you really want to make a difference by bringing more spirit presence here in the world to start to enlighten the world and to help hopefully play your part in the evolutionary plan. In order to do that, you have to be really serious, you have to be really committed. And as I was sharing the other day, when you really want to do that, you have to come from a completely different perspective in your life, where it's not about the life that you've had and trying to make more time and space in your life for spirit. You have to completely start with a clean slate, of letting go of the priorities, of letting go of how you've always done things, and really start from the center of spirit first, being that everything that's about spirit coming first, and then out of that, you then decide how your life is going to be an expression of that. So it may mean that you do the same job and live in the same house and have the same family, and it may mean that you change nothing, but the way that you do it and where you're coming from is so completely different. It's likely to mean that you manage your time differently, and it's likely to mean that the way you approach your relationships and the way you approach your job is different. And in some cases, it will mean, for some of you, and it has meant that for some of you in the past, those of you who have made big life changes in order to embrace spirit more, changing something in your life, maybe ending a relationship, maybe changing jobs, maybe starting a new relationship, maybe moving somewhere else. But it's not always the case, but it's possible. And when you live life that way, you don't really have that sense of, there's my life, and then there's the times where I connect with spirit in my life, and then I have to work to try to stay connected to spirit, because everything in your life comes out of spirit. And living from that perspective, you can't really forget spirit, you can't really forget your practices, you can't really forget being in the spirit identification. You can't really forget that everything you do is about advancing your process, advancing your actualization, advancing the amount of love that you bring into the world, where everything is just about how is this helping the bigger picture. There is no other motivation in your life except how can I be more love and how can I serve? How can I play my part? Where everything is about that. And it's not like you're trying to whatever it is that you're already doing in your life, you're trying to make it work with a spiritual motivation to try to find, through thinking about it, how you can then make that about spirit. It's really about, okay, I am spirit. What if I let completely go of what I'm doing and how my life has been and where I am and the kind of situation I am with family and all of that? Really, it's kind of like this whole exercise that life coaches do sometimes. It's like, you know, what is your dream in your life? What it is that you would like to achieve? What are the goals that you have? And people are like, oh, I don't know. And there's this whole thing of like, well, if you could have anything at all, you know, there was no restriction for money or you know, anything. If you were just like completely could do anything that you want, what would it be? And it's a bit like that, but coming from a different perspective, because it's not about what you want and it's not about the fairy tale and your house on the beach. It's about, okay, if I didn't have to have the same job or be in the same family or la 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 la, if I didn't have a need for that or want for that or whatever, and I really get back to that center of that deep connection with spirit, my sense of commitment to spirit, that sense of remembering that this life is just one tiny, tiny little episode in a great saga of many, many lives on an eternal journey. And so really, you know, all the needs and wants of what's going on the ground are so insignificant in the greater scheme of things, you know. And we have this amazing opportunity with this ascension window that's been open for some years now that closes in 2028, where we have a huge acceleration of the energies of being able to make so much progress so fast in the ascension process. And when that closes, wherever you are at, then you continue the journey more slowly from wherever you are at. And I don't know for you guys, but for me, by the time that door closes, I want to be free of the wheel of earth karma. I want to be in the universal flows, cosmic flows, so I have a choice about what I can do and where I can go and what I can be and where I can serve. And, you know, it will be wherever source needs me the most, but I want to be able to have that choice rather than go, ah, well, sorry, didn't make it, you get stuck with the rest of the monkey here and, you know, just plod your way very slowly through each initiation over however many thousands of years, you know. So that's, to me, is more important than anything else on the ground, you know, than the family or jobs or money or where I live or anything, because what I do in this life is going to affect the rest of my eternal journey forever. That's how important this is. You know, once that door closes, you've got 15 years or so. Once that door closes, it's closed. That's it. That's your chance. So now is not the time to want to take a rest and a holiday because you've been working hard and serving for 50 lifetimes, you know. Now's not the time. So it's kind of going, letting go of all the stories, the way your life has been, the things that you've been doing, the things you want, the things you need, you know, even if it's hypothetically for now, it's like almost forgetting that it's all there and really going really deep in that deep place of the I am, the spirit within. And fully identifying with that, fully loving that, placing priority on that, choosing that, being that, and then letting that shine out and letting that come into this world and come into this body that you have and the life that this body has, and then really get a sense of what direction is that pulling you in? Where is that energy calling you to go? Or how is it calling you to be? And when you wake up in the morning, you wake up remembering, I am this energy, there's this ascension window, this is my eternal journey. This is that tiny life that I'm living right now, but this life is where I can make so much progress so quickly because there's this ascension window open. Go, go, go. You know, how can I use this life that's happening on the ground at the moment to maximize my chance to make the most possible progress within the next 15 years? And, you know, some of you have been working at this for 10 years or more. You know, how much progress have you made? Well, a lot. But how much more do you have to make so that in 15 years you have a certain amount of freedom and actualization and expansion so that you are really a free spirit able to go anywhere, do anything? And you know, the truth is, the way things are going, we may or may not have a planet in, you know, 100 years from now. So when this planet, if or when this planet dies, I mean, it will die at some point, even if it's in some millions of years, but what happens then? Do you want to be in a position where you have a choice about where you're going to serve next? Or are you going to get stuck and just taken with the rest of this life wave and put on some other planet to go over the same learning again and hopefully do better? This is what's really happening. You know, you have to stop getting so caught up in the little TV show that's happening down here and realize what's really happening. Because sometimes it is a bit like this. You know, we get caught up in the day-to-day and the phenomena and the story, and it's like we get caught up in it's like a TV show, a soap opera happening on the ground. But it's not real life. Well, it is, but it's not the truth. It's not true life. And you have to keep coming back to that, keep remembering that, because otherwise you'll miss your chance to make the most of this window. And everything you do is that. It's, you know, it's not about urgency or fear of, I don't want to be left behind. It's not like that, but it is a bit of a race in a way, you know, but it can't come from fear. It's got to come from that love and that, yes, I can do this. And you can. All of you have achieved great heights in other lives, much greater than now anyway. And all of you have the tools and the support. I mean, Jesus, what a great opportunity we have here. We have all these teachings, we have beings working with us from different levels. Why wouldn't you give it everything? Everything. And yes, it's uncomfortable, and sometimes it hurts, and sometimes it's not what the ego wants, and boo-hoo, and how stupid are you going to feel at the end of this life if you've just realized that, oh my God, the ascension window's closed, and I've only made this much progress because I got so caught up with like, oh, but it's too hard and it hurts too much, or oh, it's too scary, I can't do it, or oh, I don't know, I'm doubting all the time. And you're going to look back and go, what a fucking idiot. And I don't know if you get that sometimes, but I have these moments, and sometimes it's in meditation, but sometimes it's just in the middle of the day like this, where it's like this is a dream. And I have that sense of being somewhere else and somehow else, where my whole journey on the earth, like for these thousands of years that I've been here, it's just this like, remember that day we had out over there on earth? You know, oh yeah, that was kind of fun. That's how significant it is. And many of you are nodding. It is, you know. Remember this. You have to remember that bigger picture perspective, because that's what's really going to move you forward. Coming from that place, prioritizing that, it's what's going to make you move forward in your eternal journey and allow you to be free, rather than just get caught up in a soap opera and then just have to play the soap opera for the next 5 seasons until it comes to a very boring end. And the thing is, the destination is going to be the same. You know, all the things that you're struggling with now, the attachments, I can't let go of this, so I'm too scared to do this. Well, if you don't do it now, you'll keep struggling with it until you finally do it. So either you do it now, or you experience pain and a very ungraceful journey and struggle, and you finally do it. My experience also with this grand alignment that just happened a few months ago, and the new energies of that coming in, is that there's a lot of things, activities, fee-based patterns, attachments, things that we had that we're being very much pushed to let go of by the universe. And I know I've talked to several of you, and that's been your experience as well. It's almost like, okay, you know, kindergarten's over, time to let go of childish games. And so for a lot of you, there's a lot of things that you really like being challenged to let go of. It's like you have to let go of it now. You have to let go of it now, because this new cycle is about unity and harmony. So anything that's about separation and attachment and grasping and pushing away, all of that, it just doesn't work with these new energies. It goes against this, what this paradigm is about. So there's no two ways about it. You're going to be pushed to do it because that's what the universe is telling you is going to happen. Now, either you play with the universe and you go, okay, it hurts and it challenges me and I'm feeling a huge amount around this, but I know I have to do it. I know I have to do it because there's no other way. You will. And you just work with that and you work through the feelings, and you know that as you work with the feelings and the suffering that that brings up, you know that it's actually bringing you closer to unity and harmony and being free of all these fear-based patterns and attachments. So that's that whole joy and suffering as one, because even though it challenges your ego and your personality, your separate self, the spirit within you, when you're really taking that on and just working through to let go, the spirit within you is soaring and knows that no matter what pain you're experiencing, you're starting to soar and spread your wings at the same time. And if you don't do that, and you fight it, and you want to hang on, and you want to stay in your ego, well, what you'll do is the circuitous journey where you struggle, and you fight, and you kick, and scream, and suffer, and create more baggage for yourself, and which is kind of what we've done the last 3,000 years. But, you know, worse, because all that stuff, the baggage you already have, that you're not wanting to let go of, you're going to be challenged to let go of it, and for that you'll have to go through similar experiences all over again than what you've just been doing for the last few thousand years. But worse, because you're on like the second catch-up exam session, you know? So this is what you're signing up for. If you're choosing fear, if you're choosing to prioritize the needs and wants of the ego, you're signing up for the same thing that you've gone through, but more challenging, more difficult. You know, you are in this universe. You are a part of this universe. The universe says, we're going there, you go in there. You can't say, no, I want to stay here. It's like the universe is like, yeah, too bad. You know, it's like my body, I'm deciding I'm going to walk to the door. My foot can't go, no, I want to stay here. So you're coming along for the ride. You're going to do it with pain and struggle and go through the same thing all over again, but worse. Or are you going to really face your ego and just choose to let go and embrace love and embrace spirit? Are you going to remember what this is really about? Or are you getting caught up in the soap opera of your egoic phenomena, the little story of your life? 15 years. That's it. 15 years and it's closed. So everything is about that. Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. Even your kids, even your husband, your wife, you know. If it's, you know, if your partner or your family or your friends or your job is actually supportive of that journey and works in harmony with that, great. But if it keeps getting in the way or taking you away from it, or it's actually an attachment that pulls you back and prevents you from moving forward, then you got to be ruthless. You got to be absolutely ruthless. And it's not about being selfish and fuck everyone else and being mean to the people around you. That's not mastery. That's not love. That's not embracing spirit. You still got to walk the talk of love and compassion and kindness and all of that. But you got to be ruthless about choosing love and choosing to move forward. And it's like, you know, you want the nice car? Huh, yeah, I want it, but if I don't get it, it's not a big deal either. It's not like I need it to make me feel better about myself or anything like that. It's not a fear, it's like I really like this car and I don't need to use the money for anything else, or it doesn't go against anything in my process, you know, it doesn't make me choose ego or anything. Okay, sure, I'll have the nice car, no problem. Or I really want this car, oh my God, I want this car because it's going to make me feel, more powerful, and I can finally show my parents that I've got my life together, or, shut my friends up or whatever, and, it's all about me and my little soap opera of being better than or whatever. You buy the car, you've chosen ego. You've forgotten what the journey was really about. So there is nothing that's always wrong or right. You've got to be very clear. What are my motives? What's my intention? How am I expressing myself? Am I choosing the highest love here? In any situation, you'll have choices. There's going to be learning in every choice available for you. Whether you choose the most fearful choice or the highest love, there's going to be learning in all of them. And you know that. The times where you've chosen fear, you've got a lot of learning out of it. The time you've chosen love, you've got a lot of learning out of it. Just different journeys. Very different journeys. So don't go by, what you're going to get learning out of. Just go by what's the highest love, what's the most selfless choice, what's the choice that stretches my ego the most behind its comfort zone but makes my heart sing. That soaring feeling in the heart of, yes, even if you get it just for an instant before all your little fears and comfort zones come up to disagree. And setting that intention. Every morning you get up, remember the bigger picture. I've got 15 years, eternal journey. I'd like to be able to have choices at the end of this, to be at a level where I'm free, where I'm not stuck in having to be here or having not to be here, or struggling with fear, or, there's nothing wrong with that, but I know for myself, I'd like to just be at a place where I can play a part and be a bit more involved and be more in the know and be free to stay or go, do whatever I feel to do or feel guided to do. I'm not planning on going anywhere, but I'd like to have the choice. I'd like to be the best that I can be by then. So it's like, that's what today's about. Letting go of baggage, letting go of all the stuff that's going to slow me down, that's going to drag me back, and practicing and anchoring and actualizing and integrating all the stuff that I know is about me switching on more, me being more love, me serving more. All the stuff that we practice, all the stuff that we do. Remember who you are. You are a spirit having a human experience, and you're using this human experience to make as much ground as possible within the scope of that ascension window. That's really the true value of this life. That's it. And it doesn't matter if you don't get any of the fairy tale stuff, if you drive an old bike and live in a hut, but you've achieved like universal levels of ascension, then that life has been great. Very successful. So it doesn't mean that you don't enjoy your life. It doesn't mean you deprive yourself just for the sake of it. You enjoy everything that comes your way, but you only make choices that are going to support you making the most possible progress and actualizing the most possible potential within the next 15 years. And after that, of course. But, the next 15 years is a big chance to do a lot quicker.
So you can do it joyfully.
Of course.
Choice, joyfully. Or you can do it suffering.
Yeah, and if you do it suffering, you won't get as far because the suffering way takes a lot longer. So yes, you can do it joyfully and gracefully, which means not by fighting and hanging on and kicking and screaming. So when you do it like this, things fall away much quicker and you make progress much quicker. When you do it kicking and screaming and fighting and no, I don't want to, and you'll still go on the journey, but much slowly, and it's going to be harder, more painful. And then you won't make as much progress. So by the time the doorway closes, you'll be here instead of here.
So you could say that joyfully could be the safe bet then?
Yes. Yeah. Doing it joyfully or gracefully is the safe bet. And maybe on the short term on the ground it's going to be uncomfortable, but there's no way you can lose by constantly choosing the highest love. And that is the safe bet. There is no way you can lose from that. because this body, it's going to die in a few decades. It's going to be gone. So everything it's wanted and needed and all that is going to be gone with it. But you, as the spiritual entity, you're going to still be here. And you're going to either go, wow, good job. You know, I've really made good grounds. I've made the most of that ascension window. I just didn't let the body slow me down or anything. You know, I loved it and I enjoyed it and I took good care of it while I inhabited it. But I was a good leader of the full body system. Or are you going to look back and go, oh, great. And what was all that for? Nothing. It's all in the ground with the body. This is what's at stake. So, you know, a lot of the things you go on with and struggle with and go in circles with and stuff really pale into insignificance, don't they? So you have to remember that in those moments where you get triggered when stuff comes up. It's not about pushing it away or, oh, this is insignificant, whatever, because this is what you need to use in order to grow. So everything that comes up and the challenges and the triggers and all that, that's the way that you use those things to then grow. So it's not about discarding them. But don't spend too much time. Don't energize. Don't turn it into this big drama, because it's not a big drama. It's just another thing that you can use to drop something, to leave some of the old behind, to embrace the new, do things in a new way, choose love. That's all it's about. Everything that comes up, every trigger is like, great, there's something else that I can use to grow more, to choose more love. So it's embracing all of life, because you have to embrace life to learn from it. But you're remembering what life's really about. It's about this.
In the world, but not of it.
Be in the world, but not of it, yeah. And you gradually experience that more and more.
I'm probably talking rubbish out of my head now instead of from here about how...
Well, then why do you say it then? Well, you know, if you really feel that's the case, then don't say it. But if you feel it's coming from the heart, then please share. But if it's not, if it's honestly not, then don't share it. So which is it?
I need to feel into it.
Okay.
It's about the thing of, you know, that thing about creating a response of enduring love, and how sort of knowing it from here, the highest, what is the highest love and what is the highest, because it feels like it's tangled up with that old religiosity thing of suffering, and I'm a lot better at it now, and I'm listening to everything from a much different space than I would have a while ago, but it's still there, sort of lingering underneath this sort of anxiety. It's almost, there is still this underlying thing of, if there's not some element of suffering in it, then I must have not chosen the highest thing, because the human has to suffer in some way. Otherwise, if the human isn't suffering, then I can't have chosen the high.
Yeah, and that's the old paradigm of you have to suffer to be holy, and that whole distortion is what Michael talked about, that you have to work through that tide of suffering, but not by creating unnecessary suffering or feeling that, you know, the suffering has to be painful. Because it can be that whole like, oh yeah, all that crap is coming up. Wow, I'm clearing, yay! Oh God, I feel so crappy, it's great. It's a bit like that, you know. It's like, hey, I'm having a good day, there's so much stuff coming up, yay, you know. So, you know, if you can feel where that pattern is within you, like, oh, you know, if I don't really suffer and make it harder for myself, then it's not the highest love. Find that within yourself, clear it, let it go, dismantle it, don't judge it, you know. It's like, thank you. You served me well for part of my journey, but, you know, a bit redundant now, thank you. So, and just clear it and remove that from yourself and reinstall what you know now to be the highest, whatever your highest knowing and understanding of it is at this point in your process. And that's going to serve you for a while, and maybe in 5 years, 10 years, you're going to have to delete that and install even a higher understanding of how that is and how that works.
My hesitation in, like, oh, should I share this or not, was this feeling that I should have got it by now. Maybe that's the thing to...
Well, that you need to let go of that. Some of these things just, you've been running them for many centuries, it just takes a while to completely let go. But you stay with it like a dog with a bone. You don't let go until it's done. And that's the thing you got to do. It's like when you know something's running, you know you have an issue, or you know there's a change that needs to be made, you don't just, okay, I'm going to work on it today, and then, tomorrow I forgot, or whatever. You got to be almost obsessed about it. Not as in focusing on the issue. You got to be focusing on the outcome that you desire and where you're going with it, the new. But you don't stop processing, clearing, running, letting go, until it's done, until it's clear. You just don't stop. Because, hey, I've got 15 years. I'm not going to forget.
Well, I feel a bit encouraged because I feel I've got some feeling of what it is now. Before I had absolutely no clue. And I knew I was supposed to do something. I don't know what it is. But now I can actually feel that newness from when you're talking. But
Great.
my oldness is still there.
Great. Very nice. Okay. So I'd like us to just do a little process to get a sense of that coming from that spiritual center. So let's make sure we're aligned and centered and grounded. Because it's about coming from the inside out and completely changing the place that you're coming from in your life. So you have to be in your life to do this. And let's really feel the connection with the source core of the earth, connection with our own source core in our hearts. Well, it's way beyond our hearts. It's that core within our being, which is actually not really a place in a physical body. It runs much deeper than that. It almost goes through like a portal inside of you, which is in the core of your very being, the core of your self as a great spirit. Feeling connection with the universe, moving through the energies of the circle of Sirius up to the highest, clearest, most loving source that you can tap into. Let's run the I am and really strengthen that spirit identification. I am. I am all that I am. One with the universal mind. One with the source of all life. I am one with all life forms, and they are one with me. All the same source. I am love, I am light, I am truth, I am peace, I am truth, I am life, I am. I am a conscious, concentrated point of living life within the macrocosm through which energy is focused. I am a living conductor of a living energy, a conscious conductor of a living energy. And indeed, I am this energy. And indeed, I am the source of that energy. And in, of, and for love, I choose to love, and love I will. I am. In that which I am, and I call forth a downpouring and deep penetration of the essence of all that is, thereby allowing a full and open radiation of my entire energy matrix and full body system in service to all that is. I am. God is within all that is. God is within me. God within, grow strong. God within, grow strong. I am. Mother, Father, God, I choose to serve. Please show me how and assist me to integrate the knowing I need to do so. I am. May love restore the balance. Now, staying in this space, I am this. This is my center, this is my core, this is who I really am. Make sure you clear and release any triggers, any blocks that are going on at the moment. And expand, fill yourself up with that I am presence. Let's call the downpouring and deep penetration of the Mahatma source energy. That Father energy on the cosmic level. And I call forth the I am presence of all that I am to anchor into this body and through this body into the earth and to take possession of this embodiment. I am. Remembering who you are, remembering what this life is about. I am this great spirit. This is one tiny life. And I've had many, many lives before, and I'll have many, many lives after this. And actually all of them are kind of happening at the same time, but let's not go into this right now. This particular focus, this particular life, this is where I have an opportunity to really speed up my development, my growth as an aspect of source, as a spiritual being, to become my own source, to play my part in the great divine plan. And I'm using my little holiday or my little part of my little journey here on earth to learn. This is a school. I've come here to learn, maybe to serve. And I'm remembering why I'm really here. And this body that I'm wearing is only one mean of doing that. And I honor this body and I respect it and I appreciate the fact that Mother Earth made this body available to me. And I appreciate the life that she has made available to me, so that I can learn, so that I can serve, so that I can grow. And this particular life, there is this ascension window, this vortex happening where I can grow so much faster than normally allowed to in this particular school and life wave. And so I really have to make the most of this life. I really have to remember what this life's about. Growing the most possible, learning the most possible as a spiritual being. And so for the moment I'm just going to imagine that I'm here in this body. And I'm going to let go of the way my life is completely. What if I just landed here on earth, in this room? Here I am, that spiritual being. I've just walked into this body in this room. And I'm starting from scratch. I've been training for this. I've been readying myself for this. This is a new start. When I come out of this room, when I come out of this retreat, I'm going to have to start a life that's going to be in a way that's going to help me grow the most, learn the most, actualize the most, and make the most of this ascension window that's happening on this little planet here. And right now, allow the thing within to guide me and as to how I feel my life needs to be, and how I feel I need to live, and where I need to live from in order for me, a spiritual being just landing here on earth, in order to be the best that I can be, to grow as the best possible way, to make the most of this ascension window, to evolve the most, to become a great master spirit, a source of love, a source of knowing, a source of wisdom and compassion, to be able to know how the universe works enough that I can serve and play my part, to constantly grow into more souls, grow into more love, to always be in that connection with my mother and my father, universal mother and father, to always remember that I am one with all this. The fact that I have a body on this little planet doesn't change that. How do I live today? How do I live this week? How do I live this year? How do I live this life in order to maximize my evolution? What matters, what doesn't, what needs to change, what doesn't need to change, not for now anyway. What gets in the way? What do I need to let go of? What do I need to embrace more? How differently do I need to approach my life? I am, and I'm designing my life from here, all of it to serve the purpose of my evolution and my service, because the two work hand in hand. You don't get without you don't receive anything without giving, and spirit wants to give naturally, and I am spirit. I want to love, I want to serve selflessly. What behaviors do I need to just drop? It just makes things harder for me. It just gets in the way, makes me forget. It slows me down. How do I need to be? Who do I need to be? I am. I participate fully in life, fully partake of my life, but I never forget who I am and why I'm here. I take all the lessons I can take, and I remember why I'm taking those lessons. I reassign priority and importance. What's really important within the scope of this, and this is the only scope that's true, the only one that really matters in eternal terms. I am. And what are the things that don't matter, that I just keep going round in circle with? Let them go. I know I have a certain amount of baggage, I know I have some issues, but I remember why I'm here, who I am, what this is really about, this whole life thing. Doesn't matter what the little self wants and needs and has tantrums about. Is this helping me evolve? Is this helping me be of service? No? Then drop it. You have to be ruthless. Doesn't matter how much there's but. This thing is going to die in a few decades. You will be here. So it's not about slapping it away, it's about thank you, love you, no, let it go. Training the bodies so that you don't have to fight with them all the time. I am taking possession of this vehicle. I am the leader, and I am here to learn, to evolve and serve, to be love, to be an expression of divine will and divine knowing. I am. And no matter what struggles the ego puts up, I win, no matter what, because I make it so. There's no other way. We go in there. No matter how much it kicks and screams, I'm going there. Thank you. No. Release, run the process. We've got all the tools how to do that. And so how am I being differently? How am I living my life from a whole different perspective? What do I need to change? What do I need to let go of? And what do I need to actually start doing or being or embracing? Commit to that and make it so. I am. Yes, you will encounter counter-intention from around yourself too. So what? Nothing's gonna stop me. I'm here on a mission. It's not about glamour of important work, I'm so important, so special. It's not that. It's a commitment to love. It's a selfless commitment to the truth of who you are, to evolution, to love, and to selfless service. Nothing and no one is going to stop me, whether that comes from inside me or outside me. I deal with it with love and wisdom and divine will, and I keep moving forward. Because I remember the bigger picture. I don't get caught up in a soap opera going on down here. I'm in the world, yet not of it. And I don't get caught up in my own soap opera, my own little internal soap opera either. You feel the feelings. It's not about squashing the feelings. But the feelings don't stop you either. The feelings flowing as you run the process is part of clearing the body, taking possession of the body, clearing everything that slows you down. It's to be welcomed and enjoyed, but not energized and battled with and hung on to. It's just something that happens through you and assists you on your process of evolution. It's your friend. But only if it flows through and gets transmuted and released, not if you get caught up in it. Then it slows you down. And every day I remember to live my life from this point. I remember who I am. I remember what I'm about. I remember what I'm here to do and achieve. And every time I start to get caught up in the soap opera, I bring myself back to this. It needs to become my sense of self, because it is who I am. Every time I forget this, I go partly unconscious. I am. I love. I serve. I am. I choose to love, and love I will. This is what it's all about. Love, harmony, unity, wisdom, joy and courage. And compassion. So it's not about letting go of stuff or leaving your family just for the sake of it. You only do it if you really feel in your heart that that's what's going to help you grow. Or if something slows you down, whether it's your own little patterns and your own little attachments and wants and needs, your habits, just the way you live your life every day. Are these habits about being spirit, remembering why you're here and what you're here to do? Or is it about, oh, I'm just going to forget for a bit and just indulge in? And yes, you can go and watch a movie or watch telly and still do it from this space. I'm just going to allow the bodies to, they've worked hard, they've been good today, so here's a reward. Have a bit of relaxing time and joy, but I'm still being spirit. I still remember who I am and why I'm here. And while I watch this movie, I see the love in that. I see the source in that. I can even grow from that, learn from that, explore something from that. Everything's about that. It's not about head tripping. It's not about killing the joy. I enjoy it. And that in itself is a wonderful thing. But it's not about the fun stuff that the ego wants. Ooh, it's no fun. It's that real joy from the heart. That wonder. I am. So really anchor that. Remember that. Stay conscious. Don't forget and go unconscious and become part of the soap opera. Remember what this is really about. 15 years of amazing opportunity available to us. This is one of the best opportunities you've had in thousands of years and probably thousands of years to come. Make the most of it. Make it count. Every day you need to remember to be this, to come from this place. As soon as you get caught up in stuff, come back to this. Practice it, be it. Make it your default setting. Live your life from this place. And make it be so. And make the most of it. Be committed, be motivated. Keep yourself motivated. That's your responsibility. It's easy to get excited and motivated at first, but then it starts to wane. It's your responsibility to keep yourself motivated by remembering what's at stake. I am.